Welcome back, everybody, to another live feature match from Locals. Here we are in round 3, and we have a pretty exciting matchup for you guys. We have Pendulums versus Mathmech, the brand new archetype out of Mystic Fighters. I feel like a lot of people are throwing a lot of hate on Mystic Fighters. I mean, to buy the set as a sealed set might not be the best investment you've ever made, but there are still a lot of really cool archetypes in there, to say the least. Mathmechs and Generators being two, just to name them. Dragon Maids I feel like are okay, but I feel like they're the worst of the bunch. I mean, I guess you could argue Mathmech might be, but still some really cool archetypes in there nonetheless that could be splashable in the current metagame. Who knows? But Pendulum is going first here, starting off with the Pot of Desires, and then following up with that Abyss Actor, which will allow him to go into the Electromite after normal summoning. I believe it might have been Magister of Endymion, and then on that summon of Electromite, we'll see a Phantasme, so a good response there for our Mathmech player. Now I'm going to resolve Electromite's first effect to be able to send a Pendulum monster to his face-up extra deck from his deck. And it looks like it might be Astrograph, or perhaps, I believe, Darkworm might be the call here. The nice thing about having this new camera is that I can actually play and record in the same locals. Whereas before, I'd have to monitor the camera because it could only record in 20-minute clips. And I'd be able to watch the match as a whole before I ever got to edit it. And now that I can sort of, let the camera run, go play my match, etc., I can kind of go into these commentaries a bit more blind. Have things be more of a surprise to me instead of knowing every next thing that will happen, which is kind of nice. So. And again, I hope you guys are enjoying the duel videos as of late. I asked you guys if you guys have been liking the duel videos to be sped up. The majority of you guys said yes, but some of you guys had left some good feedback to leave them not sped up. So I'm trying to work out a good compromise here. But Pendulum seemingly not having a good turn here, using Electromite's other effect to blow up the Mighty Master of Magic and then adding it right back immediately to net a draw. Not really digging into any good cards there. It looked like he opened Tempest and another Desire, so his hand not too optimal there. A Pot of Desires being resolved on the Mathmech side of the field. Both players trying to dig into their combo pieces, and to get things started, we'll see Balancer Lord, which will allow you to pay 1,000 life points, and then you can normal summon, in addition to your normal summoner set, one Cybers monster from your hand. So a pretty solid card to be able to throw in Mathmechs here. And of course, the entire deck is Cybers, so there's really no real restriction. Of course, Sign Up Mining is a great card that can be played in here, as well as your generic search card for pretty much anything in your deck that has Mathmech written on it. This is going to follow up with the extra normal summon into, I believe that was the Mathmech Division. Or the Mathmech Multiplication. I believe it might have been Multiplication. And then going into the Link Disciple, and then following up into Link Devotee, which is actually a pretty nice combo you can do here. He's going to use Disciple to tribute a card at points to draw a card, and to be able to stack a card, I believe, back to the bottom of his deck as it should go, so that was a bit of a mistake there. But nonetheless, it's okay. Regardless, it's not that big of a deal. Card still going back to the deck. And then the Link Devotee will summon 2 tokens when tributed, now linking into the Cybers Wicked, which is its effect is basically if you special summon to a zone it points to, you can basically banish the Cybers monster from your grave to be able to search any Cybers tuner from your deck to your hand. I believe I ended up going for the copy of Mathmech Nabla, it would look like. And then subsequently going to use that effect of Balancer Lord when banished to be able to summon a Cybers monster from his hand. So that will be able to put Nabla onto the field as a result. And then going to use the effect of Nabla now to tribute away a Cybers monster to be able to special summon a Mathmech monster from his deck. And it's going to be the copy of Division. And basically this will allow him to tribute a Cybers monster he controls in the extra monster zone to special summon up to 1 level 4 Cybers monster, each from your hand or grave. So as a result, he'll get rid of the Wicked and be able to reborn a level 4 lower Cybers from, or level 4 Cybers from his grave and 1 from his hand. So summoning the copy of addition and the copy of the multiplication from the hand engraved respectively, and we'll see a synchro summon here. And synchroing for, of course, none other than the boss monster, that is Sigma. And then activating effects here of the multiplication and the division. Multiplication will basically, if it's sent to the graveyard, you can target a cyber monster you control in the extra monster zone. His attack becomes double. And then division will basically, if it's sent to the graveyard, target a face-up monster in the field, its attack becomes halved. And that seemingly will be game, because Final Sigma will be up to 6,000 attack and able to deal double battle damage via its own effect. So a swift game one there by way of Mathmech, going for the OTK with their amazing level 12 synchro boss monster. I believe Geo Mathmech Final Sigma going in for a game as it usually will do. And then, of course, Pendulums going first here in Game 2. Not much of a surprise. They're trying to open up with the typical and expected Pendulum combo of quite a few interruptions, more oftentimes than you know what to do with. But Cerberus and Jackal King is a good way to start. And then Servant and Pendulum Call, discarding the Zafrani. So already off to a good start, despite opening that brick. You know, still a great start to the turn. Going to be able to add 2 Magician cards from his deck to hand, adding, I believe, Black Fang and Purple Poison, just for, you know, pendulum fodder, scale fodder, whatever it may be. And most importantly, though, after resolving that Pendulum Call, be able to put a counter onto the Servant of Endymion, which will help fuel more plays. Going to normal summon the Purple Poison, and then link off into none other than Heavy Metal Foe's Electromite. Of course, you could see this play coming from a mile away. Using its first effect here to be able to put that copy of Dark Worm to the face-up extra deck. And then probably going to follow up here by playing the Black Fang, putting an additional counter onto the Servant of Endymion, and not using Electromite's effect here, instead going to Pendulum Summon, and then using the effects of Harmonizing Magician and Dark Worm in succession here to be able to special summon out, I believe, a Magician from deck off of the Harmonizing Magician, and then be able to search the Gate 0 off of the Dark Worm, and then Chain Link blocking here the Harmonizing Magician, so he can freely special summon that Dragon Caller Magician from the deck without any interruptions from cards like Ash. So that's all fine and dandy there. And then, of course, going to link off the Dark Worm, a pivotal piece of the, you know, the classic Guard Dragon combo for Pendulums, going for LP, and then following up with the Triple Burst to be able to get the 2 arrows to be able to summon that dragon from deck. It's going to be able to summon that copy of Destrudo, which is level 7, perfectly enough with the Dragon Caller to be able to go into Absolute 0, and then following that up to go into a copy of Dragoonity Knight Romulus, which is going to be able to search the field spell known as Dragon's Ravine. Pretty cool field spell, I heard. Not only will it help place counters, but it can help dump combo pieces to the graveyard. And speaking of counters, putting that third and final counter onto the Servant of Endymion, and then breaking free from the extra deck restriction, or this is a summoning restriction from the Guard Dragon LP, by going into the Heretic Spheres, and then using the Servant of Endymion to remove all counters to special summon a monster that can hold spell counters from your deck to the field. And it looks like he's going for the Mighty Master of Magic, since he already has Jackal King in play. To be able to summon that out, no problem. Now, this is where things start to get tough, because now he's using Destrudo here. He'll take half life, dropping him down to 4k, and then synchroing with the Servant and the Destrudo to go into the Dawn Dragster, playing Gate 0 to get up to 4 counters now on Jackal King, and now has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 interruptions. 4 now, thanks to a copy of Gamma Seal coming in very clutch in this matchup. Need more removal in a game like this. Especially going against Pendulum. They put up so many interruptions. It's just mind-boggling sometimes. And it's absolutely crazy to me how well this deck can play around Nibiru because of Jackal King and Servant. It's just it seems like overly just the best deck, but in tournament results will show it's not the case. Because I feel like Pendulum's main fault is consistency issues, while some may disagree. feel like the fact that the deck has to main so many draw cards like, Into the Void and Desires and Allure can try to make the deck consistent, but also at the same time can hinder consistency by playing so many draw spells. So on the Summon of the Balancer Lord, we'll see the Hieratic Spheres get used. So 2 out of the 5 interruptions are now gone, which is good. It's definitely going to make this board breaking a bit easier and more manageable. Still has to worry about 2 spell/trap negates and 1 monster negate. And of course, Signet Mining probably will not resolve here as he goes ahead and discards the copy of Nabla, which he'll not be able to use because he does not have a Cyber Monster in the extra monster zone. There's no Cyber Monster in the extra monster zone. And then he's going to go ahead and activate Equation, which is basically a themed monster reborn for Mathmech. And then once it revives that monster from the graveyard, it'll also gain 1,000 attack. And then he's going to go ahead and negate that, no problem, with the Mighty Master of Magic, bouncing it back to the hand. And still has to worry about the negations from Jackal and Dawn Dragster at the end of the day. Just not enough cards in his hand left to be able to play. Now we're going to go ahead and go into Game 3. And as we do, I want to mention a quick shout out to our sponsor over at Imperium Duelist. If you guys are interested in picking up amazing playmats, sleeves, dice, calculator cases, whatever you need to be more prepared for tournaments, whatever, check them out down in the description below and use that discount code WinnerKills10 off to save 10% off your entire order at checkout. And if you're buying anything off TCG Player, don't forget to use my affiliate link down in the description below. Helps me out a lot and helps support the channel. But nonetheless, getting started with that copy of Division and then summoning out that copy of Subtraction, and linking off the Subtraction into a copy of Disciple, and then we'll see the Addition get summoned to the field. By targeting one face-up monster in the field, he can special summon it from his hand, but he can only special summon Cyber monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, which is a restriction he probably won't care too much about. Addition getting linked into Devotee, and then Disciple tributing away the Devotee to be able to draw a card, and I believe stack it back to the bottom of the deck, which again, I think the Mathmech player here shuffles it back into the deck instead of stacking it to the bottom. A minor misplay, but again, not too much to worry about there. And then he'll go ahead and get the 2 tokens from the linked Devotee. Disciple and Devotee, a very cool combo this deck can pull off to be able to get added link fodder through tokens, to be able to go into that Cyber's Wicked, which, as we know, can banish a Cyber's from the grave if something is summoned to his own its points to, and be able to search. So he'll summon that link Karibo by using that other token, banishing the Disciple, and he's going to be able to special summon a Cyber's Tuner from the deck. I believe special or add. But nonetheless, getting a copy of the Mathmech Sigma now to his hand, which is a level 4 tuner. And then Wicked will leave the field now for a copy of Nabla, and tributing a Cyber monster to be able to special summon it, and then summoning out Addion, or Subtraction, or not Subtraction, Subtraction, not Addition. And then summoning out the Sigma, and then linking not seeing a link summon here, but we're seeing an Xyz summon for none other than Mathmech, Prime Mathmech, Alimbertion, who is using his effect to be able to detach 4 to add a spell or trap card from his deck to his hand. Looking at Imperial Order, he could literally grab anything here. Looking at there can be only one. Potentially be able to search out any side-decked Floodgate here that he wants. And against Pendulum, quite a few options here. And Imperial Order seeming like a very good one. Also has Link Karibo for protection as well from the battle phase. I mean, what else more could you want? Now, passing it over to the Pendulum player here, this is where I would immediately shotgun that Imperial Order. And for a few reasons. It just can shut off a lot of cards and prevent him from being able to get something on board like, Endymion, which could potentially block the Imperial Order from going through in the first place. And both scales being played, not that Imperial Order could stop them, but Gate 0 and the Magister of Endymion being played. And then we're going to see a Pendulum summon immediately. Looks like going for Destrudo from the hand, and there it is, the Mighty Master of Magic. And it looks like he has a Pendulum Call and a Duelist Alliance in hand. Which is a pretty stacked hand. Or maybe 2 copies of Duelist Alliance. But he'll take 800. And now, at this point, it's already too late, I feel. Or actually, perhaps not too late, because there are no counters on the field just yet. So, but again, I feel like if you're the Mathmech player, the order should have been played earlier, 100%. Not that that means anything, like from the game going in your favor 100%. Our Mathmech player is very low on resources now from going into the Ellenbertian. Now, supposedly, you know, going all in for a card like that, in most cases, getting a card like Order should usually mean an auto win, but our Pendulum player has been fortunate enough here to be able to open Endymion, which can now block that Order from going through at all, so it might as well be, you know, not there. Because now he has a copy of Spell Power Mastery and a counter on board to be able to shut off the Order. So it just will not matter now at this point. And Spell Power Mastery is going to start loading up counters. He's going to negate. The Order does get bounced back to the hand, but it should be sent to the graveyard. That will be corrected momentarily. Erase your comments that you're typing. Anyways, still resolving that Spell Power Mastery. I'm going to add another copy of the Mighty Master of Magic. Seemingly the key to victory here in this matchup anyways for Pendulums. And he's already exhausted the battle phase. The Destrudo took the Link Rebo, and Magister was able to, or the Mighty Master was able to attack over for 800 over the Ellenbertian. And playing that scale back, there's the Order being put to the graveyard. Getting the negation effect of Endymion confused with its sort of requirement to be able to negate, which is bouncing a card with a counter on it back to the hand. And then placing a counter in a perspective spot on Endymion if you bounce not itself back. But gonna scoop there. Unfortunately, it was a really, really cool play for Mathmech there to be able to search out Order. And what seemed like a pretty easy thing to do. But just losing too many resources in the process and drawing a very unfortunate card per turn. Either the Ash or the Phantasme just not doing you any good at that point. And the game is just over right then and there. So, Pendulums taking the match 2-1. A pretty cool match nonetheless, though. I really do think Mathmechs are a really cool strategy going forward. Same thing with the Generate deck, which I will have featured in the next feature match going up probably the day after this one does. So, stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Join Discord, follow me on Twitch, all that stuff. And, yeah, hope you guys are having a good one. As always, want to kill. Signing out. We'll see you guys in the next one.